Jak dobrze nam głęboką nocą wędrować jasną wstęgą szos, patrzeć jak gwiazdy niebo złocą i czekać co przyniesie los. Hejże hej, hejże ha, żyjmy więc póki czas, bo kto wie, bo kto zna, kiedy znowu ujrzę was. Hejże hej, hejże ha, żyjmy więc póki czas, bo kto wie, bo kto zna, kiedy znowu ujrzę was. O, jak dobrze nam po wielkich szczytach wracać w doliny progi swe, przyjaciół jasne twarze witać, o młoda duszo raduj się. Hejże hej, hejże ha, żyjmy więc póki czas, bo kto wie, bo kto zna, kiedy znowu ujrzę was. Hejże hej, hejże ha, żyjmy więc póki czas, bo kto wie, bo kto zna, kiedy znowu ujrzę was. Hejże hej, hejże ha, żyjmy więc póki czas, bo kto wie, bo kto zna, kiedy znowu ujrzę was. Hejże hej, hejże ha, żyjmy więc póki czas, bo kto wie, bo kto zna, kiedy znowu ujrzę was.
My name is Magdalena Srodek. I was born in Poland in the city of Janów Lubelski, and I spent my early childhood years from 1983, that was the year I was born, in Poland, southeastern Poland, more specifically in the village of Budki, which is where my mother grew up. And it was a beautiful country. It's farmland, it's agriculture, lots of animals, cows, pigs, chickens, ducks, fields of raspberry bushes, currants, chokeberries, strawberries, buckwheat, just beautiful farm country. I was very fortunate to grow up in such a beautiful place up until the age of 4. When I was 4 years old, my mother and I both ended up traveling here to Hamtramck, and that's where we joined the remainder of our family, my father, Joseph, and my brother, Rodney. My grandparents were already here since the early 80s, but my mom and I came finally in the late 80s because of communism in Poland. We weren't able to travel as a whole complete family during that time, so we came separately. As a young child, I attended Dickinson East Elementary right here in Hamtramck. I went on to Kosciuszko Middle School, and then for high school I attended Regina High School, which was an all-girls Catholic high school. And at Regina, I ran cross country and track for all 4 years of my high school. And I made it to states my junior year as a satellite. And then I was invited to be part of the Michigan USA team over in Australia, where I went to compete the summer of my junior year. And on our way back from Sydney, Australia, and Brisbane, we stopped off in Hawaii. So that's where it took me to my university studies. As a senior in high school at Regina, it was a choice between either attending Purdue University for chemical engineering, Oxford for economics, or doing something completely out of the box and different and unique. I decided to attend Hawaii Pacific University on the island of Oahu to pursue my international relations degree along with my international business degree. My grandparents, my father's parents, Marianne and Walter Srodek, came in the early 80s and they started our family business, Srodek's Campo Quality Sausage, which is located right on Joseph Campo in Norwalk. And that was back in 1981. My parents, Yusef and Aurelia Srodek, are really the ones that expanded the business. And now my brother and I, Rodney, we run the business for the greater majority of the operations that take place. Because my parents are somewhat, if you will, semi-retired, but not completely. They oversee what goes on at the business, but we have taken on the responsibility to expand and to flourish the family business as it continues to move forward. I'm fortunate enough to have a beautiful daughter. Her name's Olivia. She's 4.5 years old. She enjoys spending time with me at the store. She finds delight in helping out at the store as well. When I see her there, I actually see myself because she's the same age that I was when my mom and I came here to Hamtramck. As a child growing up in Hamtramck, I was part of several organizations to help continue on the Polish traditions and cultures that I grew up with. And part of those organizations included the Polish Scouts, Harcerstwo, and I was also part of the Polish language schools that took place with Pani Zmurkiewicz. So those were the organizations that I enjoyed as a child to continue with my Polish culture and education, but also being a part of the Polish National Catholic Church over on Pulaski Street, Holy Cross. Been a member there at the parish since a little girl. That's where I had my Holy Communion, my confirmation, my marriage. Everything took place there at Holy Cross. So those are some of the organizations here in the city that I've held really close to my heart, both Scouts, Polish language, and Polish National Catholic Church. Upon moving back to Hamtramck in October of 2009, and shortly thereafter, I decided that as an adult and as a member of the Hamtramck community, it would be important to give back to the city that I grew up in, the city that is a part of my identity. I'm the person that I am today because of growing up in Hamtramck and having the opportunity to be surrounded with so many different diverse cultures and people. It's just an amazing city. So in 2011, I decided that I wanted to give back, and I pondered upon it, and I thought, in what way could I possibly give back to the community that means so much to me? That's when I decided to run for the Board of Education. November of 2011, I was elected as a trustee for the Hamtramck Board of Education here for our public schools in Hamtramck. My first visit to the Hamtramck Public Library was when I attended Dickinson East Elementary. We had a school trip here, and I remember walking into this building, and it just seemed so ginormous, just shelves of books all over the place. It was just a joy to come into a building and to have everything at your disposal. I must have been in the second grade, if I remember correctly, somewhere right around that time. It may have even been the first grade when we came here. And I frequented the library from that point on quite a bit, more frequently when I was at Kościuszko Middle School because it was along my route home. I even frequented it when I would visit back home from Hawaii Pacific University to find a quiet place, a corner, where I could study and do my homework for my undergrad school. But I love the library. It's an amazing place. So growing up in Hamtramck up until the age of 18, and then packing up 2 suitcases, getting on a plane, and moving completely to the middle of the Pacific Ocean to live on an island was quite an experience. I've been fortunate enough to visit many different cities, many different countries. I've lived in Idaho. I've been to Europe. I've been to Australia. I've been to quite a few places, and I'm still fairly young, I would say. But there is no place like Hamtramck. Growing up in Hamtramck, I have some great memories. One of my first memories, which will forever be embedded, is when we came here to Hamtramck, my mom and I, shortly after our arrival, approximately 2 weeks later, Pope John Paul II, now Saint John Paul II arrived in Hamtramck. And I was just a little girl, but I remember it like it happened yesterday. I remember being on the second level at our residence on Joseph Campo above the business right on Norwalk, and looking out the window over the crowd of people on Joseph Campo as they welcomed our Pope. And it was such an event that there aren't words in the vocabulary to really explain the emotions that ran through at that point, but more so looking back at it now. It was just a very fortunate moment for all of Hamtramck, but for myself, because it was just 2 weeks after my arrival. I could have still been in Poland, but I managed to come here with my mom, and the Pope came to Hamtramck. Who would have ever thought? Some really sentimental memories as a child growing up here in the city of Hamtramck included walking in the Labor Day parade, whether it was with Polish Scouts or going to the ice skating rink, which my brother and I, Rodney, we really enjoyed as children, going down to the south side and going skating. It was one of our favorite events, times to spend during the winter. We also enjoyed going to Pulaski Park and playing as children on the playscapes and just running around and having a good time as kids here in Hamtramck. It's truly a benefit growing up in such a small community with such vast opportunities and cultural influences.
Hejże, hej,